We're going to go over the SQ3R method, and that's a method that you might not be familiar with because many English teachers basically haven't taught or don't encourage skimming of passages or looking at questions first, and maybe your teacher has. But this SQ3R method asks you to do just that. Let's take a look at what the S means in the term in this abbreviation SQ3R. We're just going to go over the S and the Q right now in this short video. The S means to survey the entire passage and questions, or you could say skim the entire passage and questions, or you could go do this vice versa, which means you might look at the questions first. For instance, you might want to mark lines. For instance, if the question says, what happened in line 31, for instance, once you go back to the passage and skim it, you might pay particular attention to line 31. You might want to mark characters in the fiction. So these two mark lines, characters, particular plot points, what's happening, what happens then. Also, claims and vocabulary and transitions, all of those are all excellent things to notice in the questions before you get into the passage. The most important thing to know is that you don't need to know that passage very, very well. And that's something that's very different from EOC, EOC star, is that you are encouraged to know that passage very well. SAT, PSAT works in a different modality. You don't necessarily need to know that as much as you need to be able to zone in when the question directs you to find a certain bit of information. Also, if you take a look here at questions, what the Q means, you definitely want to look at the easy ones, at the easy questions. For instance, a vocabulary question would be one of the easier types of questions. So you want to skim those questions that might be easily answered and then focus in as you're doing your survey. And that's basically the SQ from the SQ3R method.